Okay, so I'll just read this again then.
Yeah.
In loving remembrance of Hugh Mercer Bridle, late of Manchester, who died July the 26th, 1878, aged, not very clear his age, something 8 years and 6 months. And then this inscription says, hid from sight but not forgotten.
Well, that's true, isn't it?
Yeah? Yeah.
We're here. Was it overgrown like this when you came before?
I think Tom must have been more recently, so I think it was clearer and I could read. I think it sort of probably needs a bit of a clean again.
Yeah, it's obviously not been then, hasn't it?
So how, he's our great-grandfather?
Yeah.
Great-great-grandfather. And he was born here but went up to...
He was born in Wootton Fitzpaine, but moved to live first of all in Cheshire, we think, in Wilmslow, or thereabouts, and then moved to Manchester. So he married, that's how he came to marry Mary Fielding from Wilmslow, and then they ended up moving then to Manchester, because other family members from Wootton Fitzpaine had gone to work in Chatsworth, and I think it was possibly Joseph Bridle met his wife-to-be at Chatsworth. She was working there too. He went as a gardener and she was a servant or housekeeper, and they married and went to live in Manchester.
Do you know where in Manchester? Or
I think it was Preston, that area, but I don't know how or why, but they ended up then moving to Chorlton upon Medlock.
Okay, and then they came back here.
And then we think that Hugh was suffering from TB, so we think he came back with Mary, his wife, and Charlotte, his daughter, and we think it's possibly where Charlotte then met Harry Sam, who was her cousin, and they ended up marrying. And then Harry Sam at that point was in the Royal Navy, but seems to have left the Navy the summer before he and Mary married.
That's your great-grandfather.
Right.
My great-grandfather.
But they married in Manchester at a church, I think, that is no longer there, and then that's where, and on the records it says that Harry Sam was a policeman, so it might have been a natural progression from the Navy to being, joining the police force. So there are other family members buried here. I think that Hugh's mother isn't buried here, but his grandmother, probably his grandmother and grandfather, are buried here. So that's another great. Is that for us? Great grandparents are buried here. So I think you can look inside the church, and there's a sort of a map, for want of a better word, a chart or something with where all the different graves are. So we could go in and have a look, and then when we go in you'll see that the photograph album that you had, Mum, when you go in you'll see it's exactly the same and it hasn't changed at all. So should we have a look inside?
That was
1878 he died.